Right. You know what? Four soldiers and the MOMO divisional delegate for communication have died in an ambush in the locality of Acha, Northwest region. The convoy of the SDO came under attack at about 2 a.m. this Wednesday, leaving 5 persons dead. And over the years, Cameroon has drafted, voted, and put in place development policies in the 2035 emergence vision. But the laudable initiative are pulled back by inertia, corruption, and other ills. Find out more in our news dossier. And there is a new rhythm that has taken over the musical scene in Cameroon in recent time. The Mbole dance has been projected by artists like Joël Lafleur in his song Mimbang Mibe and others. But what are so special with this rhythm? You get the answer in this newscast. And those are top stories. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Gladys Tata.
I have personally observed that most of our fellow citizens no longer comply with the protective measures prescribed by the government.
5 people have been killed around Bangui in the Northwest region after a vehicle in the convoy of the senior divisional officer for MOMO stepped on an improvised explosive device. The incident occurred at about 2 a.m. in Acha as the convoy returned from the installation of the divisional officers of Jikwa and Ngi. Ebenezer Akanga completes that story.
Among the 5 persons killed is one civilian, Rebecca Liwusi Jeme, who is the divisional delegate of communication for MOMO. The 4 others are soldiers. They were killed when a vehicle in the convoy of the senior divisional officer for MOMO stepped on an improvised explosive device some 15 kilometers from Bangui. The senior divisional officer was returning from Andek, where he went to install the divisional officer of the subdivision. 5 other persons were injured.
They fell into an ambush by a terrorist group using explosive that targeted one of their vehicles, and as a result of that we recorded 5 persons dead, 4 soldiers and the divisional delegate.
The defense and security forces have deployed reinforcements in the area. The military has accused separatist fighters of planting the improvised explosive device.
And the senior divisional officer for Fundi Division, Emmanuel Marcia Jigden, has taken up functions with the call to ensure the respect of COVID-19 barrier measures. Central Regional Governor Naseri Paul Beya, who officially installed the SDO, equally exhorted him to fight against public disorder. Quantra Marie-Claire Doe of our Central Regional Station completes the story.
Emmanuel Mariel Jigden, who replaced his late Jean-Claude Tilla, is taking over command in the Fundi Division at a time when the city is preparing for the African Football Championship, CHAN. Amongst other challenges, the governor of the Central Region instructed the new SDO to promote living together, given that the division is playing host to many internally displaced persons from the crisis zones.
The first thing he has to tackle is the cleanliness of the town and the urban disorder, especially as we are going to enter the African competitions. He has to be sure that there is security in the town. The
47-year-old senior civil administrator is a graduate from the National School of Administration and Magistracy in NAM. Before his appointment, Emmanuel Mariel Jigden has served as the SDO for Nyong and So and Mefon and Farmer divisions, first deputy SDO in the Fundi, and Secretary General at the Central Governor's Office. He hails from Gelemenduka, Upper Nyong Division in the East Region. The ceremony that held at the courtyard of the Yaoundé City Council brought together some government ministers, elites, religious, traditional authorities, friends, and family members.
With plans for Cameroon's economic growth to reach 8% by 2030, experts in this domain have emphasized the place of public administrations in this drive. First, inertia must be fought at all levels, and public sector workers made to be result-oriented than just being present at work. Secondly, public service users need to be at the center of the preoccupations of such administrations, with objectives of how to serve them better set, follow-up done for results to be attained. Constantine Bomb now presents what must be done to fight inertia.
To be called a civil servant, it means you are working with and paid by the government. Once you find yourself inside, then you just have to count it as a bank of luck, and this has greatly affected output. The common characteristic today is the wait-and-see attitude, inertia, conservatism, and racketeering, very dangerous to the growth of the country.
When we talk about inertia, since 20 years or 30 years ago, it is the consequence of lack managers.
We talk about rapidity in treatment of files, circulation of information, improving your performance. We have to be proactive. Serving
the public is still a major challenge. Experts call for competent people to be put at the right places.
We have to do the training and to select who is very, very able to change the way. If you don't want to do it and you want to do only Equilibre Regional just to do it, we will have inertia for the long time.
For the good of the country, state employees must work harder and promote good governance and innovation to have institutions capable of meeting expectations of the public. Modernizing the public service and making it more efficient will greatly assist Cameroon in this critical stage in its development drive to emergence.
The head of state has projected an 8% growth for Cameroon in 2021. But this can only be achieved if good governance is consolidated. As Ebenezer Akanga reports, good governance entails fighting embezzlement and corruption. Ebenezer?
Several structures exist in Cameroon to fight against embezzlement and corruption. But the ill is still deep-rooted in society. The chairman of the National Anti-Corruption Commission, CONAC, holds that with Cameroon having ratified the African Union Convention on the fight against corruption, the fight against the cankerworm will be given a boost.
With the ratification of the Convention of UA that he did in April 2020, it is a reinforcement of the fight against corruption, because we will follow illicit enrichment and money laundering. And we think that if we cooperate very well with all structures put on place so as to fight against corruption, we have a big result.
The Supreme State Audit Office will intensify prevention and sanctions.
We are going to increase workshops on sensitization and education, while also still carrying out the many more controls and also systematizing the sanction of vote holders and managers whom we find faulty.
Over and above prevention and sanctions, education of Cameroonians on integrity is very vital.
The 2030 vision for Cameroon to emerge can only be attained through a collective say. They add that it can only be possible if there is a sincere display of individual contribution and love for the country. Kilian Dandifon spoke with a civil society expert who in the following report explains how such individual effort and patriotism can come into play.
Every nation develops and emerges through visions, and Cameroon's 2035 emergence is an example, but such a collective target passes through individual commitments and contributions.
It means being patriotic, and that spirit of patriotism must be expressed and should be expressed through the acts, the things we do, and not the things we say.
Individual contributions void of any form of selfishness and deviant or criminal behavior, characteristic of many Cameroonians.
We know all the ills that plague our society, be it corruption, embezzlement, and all the isms we have. So we must begin to shun them aside. And when we start shunning them aside and want to believe in an exemplary manner, the thoughts you have in our heads, when they are positive, you are thinking towards a positive direction.
Above individual efforts, the love for country does not only spur, but most importantly propels the nation towards emergence.
People take personal interest to have prime over the interest of the bigger majority. So that is what is killing this country.
The vision for Cameroon to emerge is collective, but a cleansing ritual for individual behavior is imperative in the country.
The National Plan of Action for the Promotion and Protection of Human Rights in Cameroon from 2015 to 2019 is under evaluation in Yaoundé. Stakeholders in the sector meeting in the Ministry of Justice are looking for ways to ameliorate what did not go well with the plan and encourage its success. As Sosidoni Job Mandi reports, the Minister Delegate at the Ministry of Justice, Jean-de-Dieu MOMO, chaired the encounter.
Limiting war crimes and crimes against humanity, as well as other inhuman treatments in Cameroon, were at the center of discussions between governments, stakeholders, and independent administrative authorities today at the Ministry of Justice.
We would just want to see here if we have followed the international regulations in the matter of protection and promotion of human rights.
The gathering is a follow-up to the plan drafted on the 15th of December 2015 by government authorities to better structure the promotion and protection of human rights across the country.
It's important to ask the specialists, including civil society, to say if something has been wrong and that we can correct it.
The workshop also aimed at promoting the consolidation of human rights culture in the Cameroonian society with a view of ensuring optimum protection.
As you heard in Ali's story, there is a new rhythm that has taken over the musical scene in Cameroon in recent time. The Mbole dance has been projected by artists like Joël Lafleur in his song Mimbang Mibe, and of late, the young singer Happy in O Chapeau Chapeau. The rhythm is said to reflect the secular sounds of music typical of the Beti people, especially those from the Etudi clan. Cynthia Saptala now traces the origin and euphoria around the Mbole dance.
The Mbole sound is this. Hand clapping accompanied by drums and rhythmic songs. Close to the Bikusin sound and popular amongst the Beti clan, it started at vigils during which young people had the task of keeping guests awake all night with hymns and dance steps that involved the mastery of the body.
Mbole, M-B-O-L-E, bon, juste ambiance.
Mbole means ambiance. It was created to animate wakes in funerals, birthdays. It was done for brothers in the neighborhoods who lost someone in order to cheer them up a little.
From a traditional context, artists like Petit Malo, Les Médecins du Madeleine took the sound from the streets to the studio and introduced it to a young audience nationwide that now seem captivated.
Mbole now has different versions. There is Mbole Boss, Mbole Revolution, Mbole 237, and Mbole Kwata.
It may now be considered popular and even described by some as a movement in the music industry, but for how long? Only time will tell.
And in religion, His Lordship Michael Bibi is the 5th residential bishop of the Boya Diocese. This follows his appointment Tuesday by Pope Francis through a sealed message. Unveiling the envelope at noon at the Regina Pacis Cathedral, Small Sopo Boya, was the Metropolitan Archbishop of Bamenda, His Grace Andrew Mkeya. Walter Wilson Nana followed the process of the papal appointment and tells us more from CRTV Southwestern Boya.
His Excellency Monsignor Michael.
That is the voice that unveiled the sealed message from the Vatican, appointing Monsignor Michael Miabeso Bibi as the new bishop of the 71-year-old Diocese of Boya. Tuesday, January 5, 2020. The former apostolic administrator to the Diocese of Buea expressed delight with the papal decision.
More challenge that the Holy Father has given to me, but I know that with the support of the grace of God and in collaboration with all the priests, the religious and the lay faithful in the Diocese of Buea, we will continue to work in order to make the diocese to be what it's supposed to be.
The Christians who thronged the Regina Pacis Cathedral in small support to listen to the good news were all joyful.
Most of the Christians are happy today with the pronouncement that has just been made appointing Michael Bibi as the Bishop of the Diocese of Buea. I think that we should thank God because leadership comes from God.
Before his newfound appointment, Monsignor Michael Bibi was the auxiliary bishop of the Bamenda Metropolitan Diocese while serving as the apostolic administrator to the Diocese of Buea.
The sum of 739,000 CFA francs has been raised for the construction of the multipurpose center for Christian women in Yaoundé. The Christian Women Association of Église Presbyterienne Camerounaise raised the amount today during a ceremony to lay the foundation of the structure chaired by the National Chaplain of EPC. Joyce Tata tells us more.
In love and solidarity, about 30 members of the Association Chrétienne des Femmes of Église Presbyterienne Camerounaise give their own little quota for humanity. The multidisciplinary center, according to the engineer handling the project, will cost about 130 million CFA francs. It will help in grooming young girls in several fields, comprised of a conference hall, prayer room for retreats, and more.
I'm very happy to launch the project which will help young girls to be training in various fields.
We want to do something for our church and our country, and also to be one another keeper.
With the sum of 739,000 CFA francs raised this day, the foundation stone of the edifice has been laid, a project expected to reach completion by the end of the year 2021.
The director of the military hospital of the 5th Joint Military Region, Colonel Amado, has appealed on the population of the Northwest region to solicit the services of the medical facility. He was speaking during a press briefing after observing that civilians hardly go for consultation at the equipped medical structure, which can handle emergency cases as well. Kilo Valerine Sala of CRTV Northwest has more.
The current socio-political crisis in the Northwest region has led to several cases of trauma, gunshot, and cases of kidnapping. There's also been physical injuries linked to explosions and other related incidents. The institution, located at the former Polytechnic campus in Kwen Bamenda, has been equipped to deal with these cases.
We have doctors who are every day present, 24 hours on 24. In military hospital, we have reductions of consultations fee. You can see a generalist doctor with 1,000 francs and a specialist with 2,000 francs.
The hospital is not exclusively for military personnel, but also at the aid of the civilian population.
I noticed that many civilians, they don't know that this hospital is open for them because they think that it is only for military.
The hospital was created on the 21st of February 2018.
Of the Cocoa and Coffee Subsector Development Fund, CODEV in Cameroon, are reviewing the projects financed by the structure from 2006 to 2019 to ascertain the level of implementation. The technical audit, which also seeks to improve on the quality and quantity of the country's cocoa and coffee, took place today in Yaoundé under the stewardship of the CODEV board chair, Auguste Esumba Ndongo. Details with Yoti Kaleli Songe.
Boosting cocoa and coffee production in Cameroon remains a priority to the Cocoa and Coffee Subsectors Development Fund, CODEV. Thus, the need for a technical audit 15 years after the structure was created.
Through the audit, we're making a sort of evaluation of what has been done before. So for us in the future to handle correctly the sector and get sure that our production in quantity and quality should increase and be better.
Even after the inception of the Producers Desk in 2020, to ensure that producers get subsidies on time, the stakeholders are still concerned about their well-being.
We're targeting the future in the way that we can stimulate better projects for producers to make them feel comfortable in the future.
CODEF's target this year is to produce 300,000 tons of cocoa and 26,000 tons of coffee for the local and international markets.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.
It cannot be said enough. COVID-19 continues to spread with a second wave of the pandemic reported in some European countries. Health professionals in Cameroon maintain that only the respect of barrier measures can keep the population safe, especially as the pandemic strain has been reported in Nigeria and South Africa. Let's join Baldwin Sama with his guest, Dr. Joseph Fonkam, at the Public Health Emergency Operations Center. Hello, Baldwin.
Good evening to you, Gladys Tata. It is getting closer and closer to Cameroon. Thank God it is not yet in Cameroon. We are talking about this new strain of the coronavirus that's already in Africa, with 2 African countries already affected, South Africa and Nigeria. And how should we be worried with the presence of this new strain of the coronavirus in Africa, especially with some of our neighboring countries? We find out from our guest tonight, Dr. Joseph Fonkam. He is a virologist. Good evening to you, Doctor.
Good evening, Baldwin.
How worried should we with this new strain that is getting closer and closer?
Absolutely, Baldwin. This new variant of concern was first discovered in UK, and actually it is within 36 countries at least, because these are countries where they have been able to sequence and detect these variants. Now in Africa we have 2 countries already with similar strains, and what is quite worrying about this new strain is because it has a higher transmissibility rate, meaning that more and more people get infected with this new strain. And the more people get infected, the more we are also going to see an increase in the case fatality rate. Now for Cameroon, we will be receiving the chance very soon, and this new strain generally is an imported strain, so we really need to stick to our policy measures. Only a PCR test should allow anyone coming in Cameroon. During March also, we should respect this 25% physical distances, because it gives us the 1 meter distance far. And also we should really make sure during this period everybody going for the stadium should really have his face masks to avoid having a new strain circulating in our country.
Thank you so much for those updates, Dr. Joseph Fonkam. We should not just continue respecting the different outlined barrier measures, but make sure that all our different family members who are coming into Cameroon, knowing very well that this new COVID-19 strain is an imported strain, we should respect some physical distancing and equally other barrier measures vis-a-vis these our friends, relatives, and loved ones who are coming into Cameroon, so as to avoid a possibility of us embracing a second wave of this deadly virus. Back to you, Gladys Tata.
Well, Baldwin, we hope that advice has not fallen on deaf ears, and hope to be in your company same time tomorrow. And on to this advertorial, the MTN Cameroon has handed over 2 cars to the last winners for the year 2020 of the MTN promo dubbed 20/20. The 8th and 9th cars of the 20 cars were given to the 2 winners during a crowd pulling event in the Dedo neighborhood in Douala. Cynthia Etim was equally there and filed in this report from CRTV Littoral in Douala.
The year 2020 ended well for Victor Kwogela from Melong in the Mungo division and for Godlove Che, who lives in Douala. These are the lucky winners of the 8 and 9 Suzuki Expresso cars of the MTN 20 out of 20 mode contest. Victor Kwogela could not hide the joy in him as he received his prize.
I go to MOMO and send money. At times I remove money and convert it for credit when it's at night. So, and I also go to on the internet and then do the research. So those are the things I do.
Godlove Che, on his part, was happy to join the list of MTN Cameroon ambassadors, winning the 9th brand new Suzuki Expresso.
Being the owner of a car from Yellow Time, I think I'm so excited that words cannot express. So it's a joy. This is my car and it's from MTN, so nobody should fail to subscribe to MTN because it is the best network in Cameroon and they are working and it's easily affordable. MTN
Cameroon explained that there are more cars and other prizes for its customers as long as they stay with the mobile telephone company.
Special way of ending a year, brilliant way. I think only MTN can do that. 20 cars in line, 9 already gone out. We still have 11 guys and a package of 20 million. I don't want to talk about 20,000 we are doing every 20 minutes. So we are encouraging each and every one, our subscribers, new subscribers, come to the best network. It's real. You just need to do a transaction of at least 250 francs using the code *222#.
An occasion for the lucky winners to drive into the new year with hope, promising to stay connected to MTN Cameroon, causing the MTN staff to celebrate with their customers in music especially.
We are champions.
Some 16 sports journalists from the Cameroon Radio Television who will be part of the African Nations Championship CHAN are being trained on techniques of football commentaries. The training is being conducted by media experts from Canal Plus and will last 3 days. CRTV's General Manager Charles Ndongo says the training forms part of the corporation's plan to give Africa and the world a befitting football event. Daniel Ekonde has more.
The session starting this Wednesday, January 6 to Friday, January 8 is to top up the work the state media has been doing for months.
Today, it is all about fine-tuning the live commentary aspect in order to have reasonable reportage to satisfy our listeners and viewers.
Philippe Doucet, who has great longevity in football commentating and training, alongside his Cameroonian counterpart Martin Camus Mimp, are reminding the sports journalists on commentary techniques, match research, and most importantly, the harmonization of the country's 2 official languages during match reporting.
We try to see who is the best together. I mean, the best team of commentators, Anglo, Francophone and Anglophone. So we have to do experiences on Bancomo. We will organize a match to put them in the condition of a real game.
Some of the trainees come from the broadcasters' regional stations.
I think it's been so far so good, a very fascinating exercise.
Thursday and Friday will be test commentaries.
The 2020 African Nations Championship CHAN kicks off in Cameroon in exactly 10 days. Owners of guest houses in Yaoundé are upbeat the football event will boost their businesses and so have engaged in renovation works on the structures. Such furnished apartments, they say, shall be rented out for 30 to 50,000 francs CFA with the hope to recover their return on investment. Ewane Pole presents some of these guest houses in Yaoundé.
Fully furnished rental apartments in Yaoundé are being given a facelift with the quality of services upgraded as the days go by, following the zeal of economic operators to make brisk business during this period of the African Nations Championship football competition in Cameroon.
My new house have 2 rooms, 1 kitchen and 1 bedroom.
We have
rooms for 35,000, apartments for 50,000. We already have people all over the world contacting us. Do airport shuttle. We bring them to their various guest houses that they've reserved with us, and we make sure their stay with us is very comfortable. With this COVID-19 that really retarded our business, we are sure that as with this coming competition, things will change for us for the better, and we'll try to see how guest houses can get booming again.
Most of these guest houses have been freshly renovated to make customers feel at home. With 16 participating delegations in addition to CAF officials, supporters and football lovers across the world, the Shan will be a veritable event for businesses like guest houses constructed in Yaoundé, Douala, Limbe and Boya that are the host cities of the Shan in the country.
Join Adel Mbala at 8:30 for the news in French. I'll be back same time tomorrow. The technical crew join me in wishing you a pleasant evening. Good night.
Despite our efforts, COVID-19 plunged many families into mourning and seriously hampered the functioning of our economy and society. Despite our efforts, COVID-19 plunged many families into mourning and seriously hampered the functioning of our economy and society.
CRTV News, ici, toute l'information.